Fellas. Happy Wednesday.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, man. We made it through half of the week.
I know. Now we just got to make it through the other half.
Good luck with that. It's
fucking know.
transportation.
Dude, I know. I just can't wait to get till Friday.
Yeah, man, that's the beautiful thing about it. It's called hump day. So, first part of the week going up, and then it's all downhill from here. So,
yeah, falling all over the rocks and the trees and everything else.
Yeah, downhill fucking rolling like in one of the Looney Tunes cartoons. You know what I mean?
No, we go downhill like Swift drivers, bro.
Oh, God. They can't even find the hill if they wanted to, man.
Exactly.
Man. So, Hunter, how was your day, bro?
It was good. Kind of getting into some of the newer, really just trying to find new business out here. Things are going well as always, but finally getting time to get back on the phone. I've been way too much cradle to grave, but we got a new cat in the house, helping us out with some operations and all that good jazz. So I'm gonna have a lot more time on my hands. That's all I can say. It's no more 1,000,005 emails. So no complaints on my end. How about yourself, my man?
Been all right, bro. I mean, honestly, I ain't gonna lie. It was a shitty day. It was just a not good freaking day, like at all. So I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like I am forcing a smile and a good attitude right now. I fucking promise you. I just want to take a 6-pack to the dome. Just wallow.
Hey, Mama said there'll be days like that.
Bro, Mama, I wish my mama would have told me there'd be 1,000 days like this.
Oh, she tried to tell you. You just
didn't. Mama tried.
You're fucking right.
I believe that.
Jimmy, how was your day, bro?
Man, it's logistics, man. Every time you think it's a good day, trust me, it's a bad one.
No. No, that's right, bro. I talked to this guy a while back. He told me, he said, if you're in logistics and you don't have a problem by 7 o'clock, something's wrong.
You're probably not in logistics.
For real. It's like, hey, that's true. Like, dude, I got problems when I wake up, man. Like I wake up to fucking problems, man.
Man, my day starts at 5 in the morning, and I'm lucky if it ends at 10 at night. And it only ends then because I say, hey, don't bother me unless you absolutely have to.
That's almost mine. My day begins at 6 o'clock, man, and I'm I don't know. It kind of never ends for me. It really doesn't.
Exactly.
My phone goes off all hours of the night, and it's just it whatever. It is what it is. Like we said, it's fucking logistics, man. So
it's the life we chose.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess. Like kind of sure. We'll go with that.
We're gluttons for punishment.
We are gluttons for punishment. That is true, man. Well, we are going to start getting into things. We obviously have Jimmy here. Jimmy is with AccuBid Pro. I will not say anything about it right now. I'll wait till we get to talking with Jimmy, and I'll explain a little bit of what he does, and then he could take it from there. He is going to put out, I feel, some really good information. The company that he is a part of is really, really amazing. So yeah, we'll touch on that in a minute. First, as usual, I'm going to do my little news segment here. This one actually hits really close to home. I've looked into it a little more, and it's I'll talk about the, I guess, addition to it or extension. I'll talk about the extension to it. So everybody is obviously, everyone's heard about all these companies doing layoffs and such since the beginning of the year. Yellow shut down. A bunch of those people got laid off. All the big brokerages really have done it. Landstar, TQL, CH Robinson. I actually even read something in the news yesterday, I think, that Knight Transportation has laid off drivers. I mean, just think about that. I mean, they're the largest truck carrier in the country between them and Swift. And I mean, they got their reports back for their revenue and profit, and things just weren't looking the way they wanted. So yeah, you've got companies of all sizes shutting the doors and laying people off. Honestly, This one, I really didn't expect. I will be 1,000% honest with you. I do not expect FedEx to lay anyone off, especially with Yellow closing its doors. I mean, I really thought, man, dude, FedEx is going to suck a lot of that up, and their things are going to be good. Their stock price is going to rise, and we're going to hire more people. And man, was my assumption ever wrong on that? So I live in Central Texas. This place, Temple, is about 30 miles north of me. And I used to drive by this facility every single day on my way to work when I worked for McLean. And it has been there for as long as I can remember. Like, I mean, I'm 39 years old. I've lived where I lived almost all my life, and like that place has been there forever. UPS is actually right next door to them, ironically. So, and it says, they're laying off 56 employees here. The article doesn't have a lot. It was actually a video. I just kind of stole the article, but it is the entire workforce here. I mean, if you can see right here, that is a for lease sign out in front of this building. So they've literally laid off everybody. And reading this got me to thinking, hey, is this maybe just this location or maybe just a handful of other locations? But right here, you can see it says FedEx will enact layoffs at 5 facilities over the next few months, impacting 843 employees. 5 facilities doesn't sound like a lot, but this number right here, 843 people are going to be without a job. And I'm not familiar with how all of FedEx works, but I do know that a lot of them are unionized. So I'm not sure if they're unionized down here in Texas, but I mean, I'll just say I'm totally against unions, like 1,000%. I think they're just completely waste of time and people's money. But we saw what happened with Yellow. I mean, the union came in and was doing all these things, said we're going to do this and save your job, so forth, so on, and it didn't happen. I mean, Yellow was too far gone at that point. The union wouldn't have done anything. But I just use that as an example to say that if all the FedEx is unionized or any of these locations where these people are losing their jobs are unionized, I mean, the unions aren't going to do anything for these people. They're not going to help them out. Hopefully FedEx will still honor their pensions. Yellow, they closed down, and a lot of those guys aren't getting their pensions. Been there 20, 30 something years. FedEx is the same way. So, really big thing to me that a company FedEx's size is, making layoffs at a point when, like I said, Yellow's gone out of business. There's other truck companies that have gone out of business that, FedEx could easily pick up, some of their freight and stuff. So, yeah, there you go. Just bring light to that and say that, hey, unfortunately, the ebbs and flows and the pains that we're facing right now in our country in general, but also in certain sectors like logistics and transportation, it really seems that the end is not here yet. Things may get worse than they are now. Hopefully, they'll start getting better, but as of right now, I mean, it's just every day in the news, people losing their job and companies shutting their doors. So, if you work for FedEx or someone that works for FedEx, and you're at one of these 5 facilities where these 843 people are getting laid off, my heart goes out to you. It really does. I feel sorry for you. I've been there. I've lost my job before, been laid off, and so I know how that hurts things. And hopefully you'll be able to bounce back. Drivers, there's always something out there for you to guys to do. Dock workers, hopefully where you're at, there's a place for you guys to go to, and everyone else in the office. So there's that. If anybody at FedEx, send them our condolences for sure.
Aren't you just a ray of sunshine?
Dude, I just touched on like whatever, man. Every day it's something different. This one, like I said, it was close to home, and then I just decided, hey, I'm going to look into it and see if there's other places being closed down and stuff like that, or if it was just a Temple location. They also have a location in Waco, which is like 30 miles north of Temple. So I thought, hey, maybe they're just consolidating everything to their larger facility, but come to find out, things just aren't going as well for them as they would like in certain areas. So FedEx is making some layoffs.
Well, this is interesting though. I'm reading into it, and it says the cuts in Texas, Pennsylvania, and Indiana are due to customers moving their business to other providers.
Well, there you go. And I guess I could also see that because if you saw in the news right after the yellow stuff went down, or during the time it was going down, FedEx and UPS were talking about that they're going to raise their rates, on a lot of things, like per parcel, and change how they charge their accessories and stuff like that. So that right there, Hunter, I mean, probably, may have had something to do with it. These people are like, hey, I'm not going to let you gouge me, you know what I mean, and pass the buck on to the customer, make me pay for your losses, you know what I mean?
Well, let's be real about this. For 2 years, carriers, brokers, the whole nine got over on all these companies, and now it's get back time. They're not going to keep paying this outrageous freight bills when they know they don't have to.
You are
absolutely
1,000% right, bro. We have touched on that so much, man. And I've never heard anyone else say it. Hunter said he's seen a few people say it now. Personally, I'm going to trademark it because they fucking stole it from me. But I call them the COVID crusaders, the COVID brokers, and the COVID carriers, bro. I mean, they've done a lot of damage to this industry. I mean, not the topic of the night, but it's exactly what you said, man. People got in this during COVID. They abused the situation. They took advantage of shippers and brokers and such like that. And I've literally had my own customers tell me, dude, like, it's my turn. Like, they have told me it is my turn. I got fucking screwed for 2.5 years and couldn't do anything about it. And now I'm going to make all that money back that I lost and that I was taking advantage of. And it sucks that it's gotten as bad as it has, but just like I tell the carriers, man, like, you guys did it to yourselves. Like, you have nobody else to blame but yourself. I understand diesel price and all that shit, but I'll say this, make this point that I always make. If you've been in this business long enough, in 2008, in the middle of the recession, mind you, pay was lower back then. You were making, about $1 a mile as an owner operator. You know what I mean? Diesel was the same fucking price that it is now. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, people made it through that. People figured out a way to make it through that. So, although that's a big excuse, to me, it's like, dude, figure out a way to cut your fuel bill, man. Stop doing fucking 75 miles an hour everywhere and then bitching because you get 4.5 miles to the gallon. So,
that's right.
But actually, I guess that kind of goes in to you, Jimmy. Like, it really does. Oh shit, I guess it is on subject because
it is on subject. It goes hand in hand, man.
Yes, bro.
It doesn't. If you can sit there and bring up Yellow, and you can bring up FedEx, and what's the big brokerage that shut down? Started with an S.
Surge brokerage.
Surge.
Yeah, those guys were stupid.
If you've been in this business any length of time, and honestly, it applies across the board to any business. Every business is a pennies business. If you're not paying attention to your pennies and looking at your margins, you're already set up for failure. You can't live out of your business like it's your personal checking account. You just can't. Every business needs to be treated like construction. When you were growing up, if you worked construction, what'd they tell you? Put your checks away because when it rains, we don't work. Don't spend all your money.
Dude,
guess what? In transportation, it's raining. And it's raining hard, brother. So what's happening? All these guys who are the COVID crusaders who ran out and got these trucks at inflated prices because they were getting $7 a mile. Well, now it's down to average where you're lucky to get $1.75, and now you can't pay your bills.
That's on them.
Exactly.
Laying the bed you make.
You're exactly, you are on point so much, Jimmy. I will tell you that I try to give people advice all the time to carriers, owner operators, brokers, and I'll be honest, man. I've never been an owner operator. I have almost pulled that trigger several times, but I was a guy that I did enough research, talked to enough people that every time I was about to make that jump over to that side, it wasn't right. I ran the numbers and it just wasn't a good situation for me. And a lot of these carriers, man, they don't do that. They talk to their brother, sisters, moms, cousins, chickens, dogs, best friend. And they're like, oh, hey, Bobby down the street is making, X amount of dollars driving a truck, and he's got a brand new Benz, and all this just really complete bullshit. They say the same thing about brokers. We're all making $1,000. I'm actually sitting on my yacht right now. I mean, if you see, look, there's the other boats in the background, man. We're all sitting.
That's all it is.
So, but they do exactly what you said, Jimmy. I love that you said that. They live out of their business account.
Yes.
Like they may have a business account and a checking account, but they're just continuously swiping that card, pulling out of their business account. And one of the biggest things that I tell anybody that is a business owner, anybody, I don't care if you own a fucking lawn care business, give yourself a salary.
There you go.
Set yourself an amount of money that you are supposed to get a week, and that's it. Give that to yourself as pay, and then everything else needs to go into your business account. And then keep control of your expenses, which a lot of people don't do, which is obviously where you come into play.
Exactly what you said about trying to pull the trigger, and you talk to friends and the numbers never added up. Well, I can't tell you the number of times I signed on owner operators to run under my authority, and the first question out of my mouth is, well, how much do you need to make? What is your operating cost? And they say, I don't know. I want to bring home $4,000 a week. I don't know. I want to bring home $4,000 a week does not tell me what your bottom line is. And if you don't know what the zero number is, that's a problem. You own a business.
Yep.
Because the first person you're going to be mad at is the dispatcher. You're not making me enough money. Well, I don't know what enough money is for you.
Yep. If you don't know your own expenses, it's very, very hard to make a budget there.
Exactly. So that's how AccuBid Pro was born, man. I had to learn the hard way. I got into business, and it was just go out and buy a truck and get to running. My very first run out the door, I burnt the air compressor up, almost burnt the truck to the ground in South Carolina, and almost lost everything right there. My very first run, and thought I was doing something great. You're talking 2013. I was making $1.35 a mile and just tickled, man. I was making money.
Big time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, Hunter, Jessica. Oh, girl, I love you. Hunter, Jessica Lopez. She's going to be a sponsor on our show here in a week or so. She said, tell the idiot, no, I'm playing. She said, hey, logistics is misspelled at the top of the screen. Dude, I've never even noticed that.
No, man. No, I remember I caught it when we first made it. She's the first one that caught it.
Jessica. Oh, we got to figure out something to give you. He's right, Jessica. I remember.
You won the competition.
Dude, you did. I know. He's right, man. When he did it, we put it up. He caught it. And before he was going to redo it, he said, no, man, we're going to leave it up and see how long it takes someone to catch it. Jessica is the first one. Dude, holy crap, I totally forgot that you said that.
So she gets a trip to Dubai, right? Y'all going to give her all expenses paid.
Yeah, all expense paid on her account.
Hey, brother, you're on a yacht. I mean, come on. Give the girl a trip to
I'm
Dubai.
on my Viking yacht. Dude,
Hunter, I see
Georgia
Southern. Are you in Georgia?
No,
I'm in Nashville now. I'm a mutt between Georgia and Tennessee. I'm up in Nashville now.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm Jimmy, where are you at?
I am in Griffin, Georgia. Spalding
Griffin?
County. Yeah.
Griffin.
Yeah, I'm from Douglasville originally.
But, I got a buddy who lives in Douglasville. I wouldn't live over there if you paid me to.
That's funny.
It is not the same, man. It is not the same.
But anyway, so we have a tendency to get off topic here, Jimmy. So
that's okay. So do I.
But back to the point of what Jimmy does in AccuBid. We're talking about expenses, and like Jimmy said, a lot of these carriers and brokers too. But Jimmy's stuff focuses on carriers. They get in the business and they just say, hey, I want to make, X amount of $1,000 a week. And that's it. They just have a number in their mind that they want to make and they want to bring home. And they don't think of none of the expenses that go into that, go along with it, none of that stuff. And then at the end of the week or 2 weeks, whatever it is, that truck payment's going out, the fuel bill's coming out, the insurance is coming out, the factoring charges, the dispatching fees, all of the shit the driver's got to pay for. that $4,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, man, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And Jimmy, the reason I like you so much, man, and what you do is
it's my beard.
Dude, it is. It's a sexy beard, bro. I love it. I think we need to set a new rule, Hunter. You have to have a beard to come on this show. Jessica, we're going to need you to paint a beard on before you come on the show. Anyway, I talk all the time, Jimmy, about cost per mile, and that is the most important thing that a carrier needs to figure out about their business, and it needs to be. She
said, "Will do."
Yeah, she said, "Will do." Dude, she's awesome. Her and I talked for like a half an hour today, bro. She lives here in Texas, about 3 hours from me. So yeah, really cool chick. She does some good shit, man. I can't wait to have her on the show. But the cost per mile, man, is the most important thing that they need to figure out, and it's all honestly one of the first things you need to figure out. What are you profitable at? The data so far this year says that for the first time, cost per mile is averaging around $2 a mile for carriers. That's different for everybody. The truck that I run right now, we're averaging cost per mile like $1.75 ish, something like that. So we're doing pretty good. But the reason for that, and Jimmy, you'll be able to touch on this, is to know, man, like I don't need to take $4 mile loads everywhere I go. Like that's great, but if I have to take a $2.50 mile, I know that I'm profitable at $2.01, and that 49 cents doesn't sound like a lot, but as a business owner, profit is profit. Like,
man, you give me 49 cents a mile, and I do a 2,500 mile week, and you're telling me that's my profit all day long, bro?
Yeah,
all day long.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, what I'm gonna do that math right now, bro.
Do that. Click some.
12.25. I mean
that's your profit.
Yeah, dude. That's your profit in your bank, and that should be after your wages, everything.
That's if you put in all your numbers and do your math. That is actual profit. Like you can see that real time profit, and that's the whole point of the app.
Yeah, and I'm going to I can't share the app because I'm on my computer, but I am going to share the screen here and stuff, Jimmy, and let you talk about what all AccuBid does, and just take it from there, broski.
Man, of course, it's an app, so it has background features that I have to pay for. I have to have servers to store your stuff. So yes, it has a cost. It's $17.99 a month. But once you get into it, you put in all your basic factors. You put in your truck note amount, you put in your fuel, you put in how much you want to get paid, so on and so forth, your maintenance fees, and it'll give you, and you put in the mileage, because let's be honest, let's start at square one. You need to know roughly what your business plan is. Are you going to be an over-the-road guy and drive all the time, so you're going to put in 600 miles a day? Or are you trying to be home every night, every other night, so you're going to run 500 miles a day, 400 miles a day? So you need to know that in order to get something accurate. But it's going to spit out your operating costs to you, which, like you said, right now the national average is around $2, probably up to $2.10. And that's probably a little skewed because so many people bought such expensive equipment that's not all factored in there right now. There are people getting out of business every day because the same truck you priced 3 years ago went up by 50%, and you bought it because your buddy said, I'm making $7 a mile, But that's the gist of it. So once you have your operating cost, the rest of it's easy breezy. It'll give you great bid ranges to show you how to be profitable. If your operating cost is 201 and you want to be 10% profitable, where do you need to be? 222 a mile, and you're averaging a 10% profit. And the upside to it is it records the loads you do. You email them to yourself. You see real-time numbers every month. You have real-time data. It's like having Microsoft Outlook, or not Outlook, running a spreadsheet or using QuickBooks right there on your phone, right there, one click, one touch, and you're done. I mean, you really can't beat it.
Yeah, man. I've like I said, I download the app, man, and have looked over. I wish we could share the actual like app on screen so people could see how it goes. But this is pretty much a screenshot right here from the app.
It is.
Um, and Jimmy, everything that I've seen, dude, it is this thing is amazing for the tool that it is, brother. I've not heard or seen anything else like this, so I commend you and your people for putting this thing together, man. I know that it's not cheap to design software and set up apps and everything. So
we're not even going to get into that.
Oh, brother, I know, man. I talked to a guy. He dropped $1 million on an app for like that literally was going to be used for 25 people. It was fucking stupid. I mean, man, like stupid cost. The app was great, but the cost was stupid.
That's insane.
It's 100% self-funded, and it's built for the individual owner operators. That's why it's not on a desktop version. It's built for that guy who's out there running his one truck, doing his own thing, trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are advances to it. I'd love to make it for more of a fleet management.
I was just about to ask that, man. I was just about to ask, is there a way to make it for a fleet? Well, actually, let me ask you this, man. I mean, in a way, I mean, I guess you could download the app several times. And do you guys have like a group type thing? Say I'm a fleet owner and I'm like, hey, I got all owner operators and I want them all to have this app. Like,
as long as they all had individual phone numbers and individual email addresses, yes.
Would there be a way to like pull that data together somehow, like, from a main server and send it to the fleet owner? Or would it be, once they download it or send it to their computer, they'd have to, send it off to the fleet owner themselves?
Right now, they would have to send it off to the fleet owner themselves.
Yeah. I mean, that's still pretty cool, man. I mean, and dude, I mean, this thing is really in depth. Like Jimmy was saying, I mean, right here, it tells you how to bid things, which I think is really cool. It not only tells you what your cost per mile and stuff is, but you run lanes and like Jimmy touched on earlier, it tells you, hey, this is what you should bid on this lane. Now let me ask you this, Jimmy, does that calculation, does it take in effect what the going lane rate is, or is it just telling the driver, hey, this is what you need to charge regardless of what the lane rate is?
Because it's individually based, it's what you need to charge. Because like you said, your operating cost is $1.70. So you might be happy getting $1.90. Where if I take $1.90, I could be losing 11 cents a mile.
Yeah.
So it's based on the margin that you personally want to try to see as a profit.
I mean, honestly, I guess in a way that that's good information too, because it helps you realize what lanes are going to be profitable for you.
Exactly.
Like our truck, man. We don't run our truck anywhere east or west of I-35. I don't go anywhere north of usual Baltimore. And we do that because I have figured out what our cost per mile is, and also being a broker, I know where the flatbed hotspots are, and in the West Coast ain't it, and also knowing the cost of fuel and what our fuel mileage is. We don't go to the West Coast because of all the mountains. Fuel prices are, shit high over there.
Exactly.
I don't go to the Northeast because there's all kinds of tolls. There's very little parking. Fuel is ridiculous up there as well. So I like that, man. It could definitely help you, like I said, to figure out what lanes are good for you. If you're sitting at home, man, I personally would be typing in lanes, man, and then running the rates,
Well, that's it. Everybody's like, oh, use data analytics and stuff like that. But let's be honest. How many times have you reported to DAT or Truckload or anybody like that how much you pulled a lane for?
Very, very seldom people do it.
Exactly. That's because this is a cutthroat business and you're scared someone's going to find out what you did it for and they're going to undercut you, because Truckload and DAT and all those are big companies. And what do? They sell information. That's what they do. That's how analytics is built. No one reports that shit. So to tell me, the average lane price is $2.14 really doesn't mean shit, because if only 5 people report it out of 50, are you getting good data?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man, and I'm glad you touched on that because I actually wondered, hey, where does DAT get all their analytics? Because if I don't know if every DAT package does this. We have the top package, so like I can see all kinds of fucking crazy shit. But on my DAT, it has the graph, the main graph, that covers the year span, and then on the far right, it has what has been paid to the carrier. And I asked my boss, man, he's a super techie guy, knows a lot about shit. And I said, man, how do they get that? Like, are they calling carriers or brokers or like how are they reporting that? And what he told me is when you sign up for DAT, there's a screen that asks you, can we integrate with your servers and pull information from your TMS about what you booked loads at? And most of those people are brokers, which I kind of think is bullshit in a way because it really is pushing things not in the favor of the carrier because I mean we all know there's trash brokers out there and you and I both know that some of these brokers, like the big guys, they're running several hundred loads a day. So they're feeding astronomical amounts of data. And those big brokers are known to run stuff at cheap ass rates. So,
they do it on volume. They don't do it
yes,
on what the truck needs.
yeah, exactly, man. So,
and that's the whole point of this app, man. A driver cannot fight for himself if he doesn't know what he's fighting for. Because you're a broker, you know this. I call you, yeah, you got this load from Atlanta to Savannah. And what's your first question to me is, how much is it going to take for you to do it for me? And if I don't give you an answer, you're going to lowball me. And that's my fault. I have to come out of the gate and say, well, it cost me this, so I'm going to bid this. And now let's negotiate. If I put the ball in your court, you're always going to lowball me because your job is to make money. It's not cheating the truck if the truck doesn't know what the truck needs.
I don't like that you said that, man. That is a really good point. And I'll tell you exactly how I do things as a broker, man. Just like every other broker out there, I use DAT to rate stuff. And I want to make this little caveat because someone said this to me earlier that they use truck stop to fucking rate stuff. And I was like, dude, that is the biggest joke ever. Like, you do know their rates are way the fuck off from DAT, right? But anyway, I use DAT trade everything. Those are the numbers I give to my customer. And let's just say that there's a lane running and the going lane rate to the carrier is $1,400. I usually, to me, a $200 or $300 win is great for me. So, that's really all I feel I need on most things, so if it's 1,400, I'll tell my customer, hey, 16, 1650, 17, whatever. Now, I will be honest, and I do this because this is me as a carrier also understanding how the negotiation works. If the lane pays 1,400, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to post that shit at like 13 because I want to get you at the 14 or 1450. And, so I can make my little $200, $250. But I get carriers all the time, Jimmy, that they call in and, they say, hey, like it may be $1,400, but I need 1,700. Like that's what I need to run my truck. And those are the guys that, although they come sometimes with some ridiculous rates, I've had people $1,000 over the lane rate, but I was like, I respect you, man. Like I hate that you're trying to like fucking get me like that, but I am happy that you understand what you need to be profitable at. And you are 1,000% right. If a carrier asks me, well, what are you moving the load for? Which hardly ever happens because I always post my rates. But you're right, man. I'm going to tell them just like I told you. I'm a $1,300 and I'm a hope you're going to meet me at 14. You know what I mean? And I'm not lowballing you trying to rip you off. I know where the negotiations are going to fall, and I know how negotiations work. And in any business, the person who stands to benefit the most is going to lowball you so they can get the highest profit margin.
Well, as the truck looking for the work, it's your responsibility to know what you need to make that work happen. I mean, it's not my job to look out for you per se. I mean, if you tell me $900 and I say, cool, is it my fault that I made 900 or is it your fault you didn't ask for more?
I mean, I say that.
I mean, it's not the brokers in this business. It's not the shippers. It's not always the trucks. It's us. It's a collective. It's just like you trying to sign on and become an owner operator because your buddy told you so. Okay, the numbers, you feel like the numbers work. Well, is your buddy going to tell you the broker he's getting his freight from that's paying him that good? Is he going to hook you up with his customer? No, he's not. He's going to say, man, you just got to beat around the bush, man. Grind it out. You'll get there. But I'm glad you got in that truck, but he ain't going to save your ass from that, that truck note.
That is so true. And that has been the story for a lot of these carriers out there, man, that came in, around COVID. That's exactly what it was. Like I said earlier, man, someone told them they're making all this money and that's about the end of it, man. Hardly ever do they tell them, hey, this is what my expenses are and what my cost per mile is. This is what I recommend you do. They don't give them any advice except for, to toot their own horn, man. I'm making all this money and they don't give any context. Like you said, man, all right, how do we know this guy's not dealing with a broker that has really player freight, man? And the guy's just paying really well because he gets a good rate. And I want to fall back on what you said about if you tell me $900 or $1,000, and then if I make 1,000, like you said, like, I don't feel that's my fault. I have said since day one in this business, I will always try to give the driver what they want. And if you give me a rate that just so happens to make me $1,000, I'm not going to fucking tell you, hey, I've got $1,000 more in it. Let me give it to you. No truck driver is going to say, if I offer you $1,700, they're not going to be like, oh man, I only need $1,300 to run this. Take that $400. You know what?
That's my point exactly. No one's going to turn down the profit. So it's imperative for you, the truck driver, to know what you need, and don't start at the what you need because it's going to go down. Start at the what you want and try to get back at least to what you need. Because like if you do this math right and you factor in a salary, an actual salary, all your bills will be paid and you will be paid. You might not be turning profit, but your business is solid. You can't live out of your banking. No, none of these guys who became Fortune 500 millionaires did this without using numbers. There is a cost of business in every business. Truck drivers have to treat it like a business. This is not a get rich quick scheme. These things cost a lot of money to operate. It's plain and simple. I mean, the last year I had a truck, I no longer have trucks. The last year I had a truck, my insurance for one truck was $22,000 for the year for one day cab.
Shit, dude, we're paying, man. What are we paying? I'm gonna tell you the numbers right now. Our insurance right now is $1,700. It's
a month.
Yes, $1,700 a month. So we're paying $20,460 a year for our insurance. But I mean, we have a 2019 Kenworth T680, so we do have a newer truck. Our driver did have some tickets and stuff on his deal or whatever, but believe it or not, that's the lowest our insurance has been. It's crazy, man. And we've had a hard time out there surviving, man, and being profitable. And I will say, a big part of it was because the cost per mile, even right now, I still do not have a full accurate part of it because I mean, I don't get all the receipts that I should. And I want to point this out as well, Jimmy. And after I'm done saying this, let me know if your app does this. Okay. To figure out a true cost per mile, it is all of your expenses. If you buy a fucking wiper blade, that needs to go into your expenses to figure out your cost per mile. If you buy a blinker bulb for 45 cents, that needs to go into your expenses for cost per mile. It's not just
it does, but that would run on the long term. If you're just starting out, you pick a number. Cost has went up some, so I try to factor 20 to 30 cents a mile as so-called maintenance.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
So just put a number in there, and then at the end of a month, add up your receipts and say, how did I do? Then you can adjust that number and so on. It's just like fuel. Yeah. as it comes down, you want to adjust the number a little bit because you want to get as accurate as possible.
Yeah. And Jimmy, hey, what I want to want your take on this. So my threshold for figuring out a cost per mile as a new owner operator, I always say you need at least 6 months out there, to accumulate all the expenses that you would, having a couple tires changed out, doing some oil changes, replacing some bulbs and such like that. But I've heard people say, oh no, man, you need to do it at least on a year. I've heard others say 3 months. So, do you have a recommendation on that?
I mean, it's kind of like starting any business. It's how much can your pocket afford?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, just your startup cost to start your trucking business. You're going to get one truck. You're going to drive it, but your startup cost to do that one thing is probably about 12 grand. That's a down payment on your truck. That's a down payment on your insurance. And that is getting your IFTA in line and, getting your company set up.
Yeah.
So if you don't have 12 grand out of your pocket right there, well, you're already in the hole for one. Now you're a new guy. Brokers don't want to work with the new guy. So you got the struggle of a factoring company who's not going to give you good rates because you're new. It's so much involved, but it's like anything else, man. If you quit as soon as it gets hard, what was the point of starting?
That's true. And a lot of them do that. And I will say the guy that I deal with, I'm so happy that he has not given up, man. We have faced some Mount Everest like you wouldn't fucking believe, man. I mean, there have been so many instances where we have thought, okay, this is the fucking end. Like we are not going to come back from this. And we do, man. We lose money on a deal and through maintenance or whatever. And in a few weeks, like things have leveled back out. But I'm glad that the guy did what he didn't do that, man, and I try to keep him from not doing that, hype him up and say, just like you had said earlier, man, like, this thing is not on the short term, man. Logistics,
it is
logistics, period. But more so being a carrier, it is a marathon, not a sprint,
That's right.
And, my dad owned his own business for 30 something years, man. He was a home inspector, but dude is just a plethora of knowledge. And he has always told me when I've asked him questions about friends owning businesses, and I owned a business for one time on my own, that, when should you start making money? And he always said, hey, most small businesses, and this includes carriers and brokers, they fail within the first 6 months. Most small businesses do not turn a true profit for at least a year. Because like you said, you've got these massive startup costs. And even if you do have the 12 grand, Jimmy, like you and I both know, man, 12 grand is nothing to shake a stick at. That's a lot.
That 12 grand is gone initially. So if you don't come out of the gate and start moving freight, you're behind the payments already. So it's about relationships. Like us, you're a broker. You got to make a relationship with your customer. That's how you keep your lanes filled up. It's the same for a carrier. Even I don't want to hear the spill anymore. I'm the new guy. Nobody will give me a shot. When you get the shot, do what you say you're going to do, deliver the load, get your paperwork back on time, and guess what? That guy's going to use you again. How about this? Before you get off the phone, I'm running Atlanta to Savannah, Joe. Hey, Joe, you got something out of Savannah? Try to start working that backhaul, that very next load. It's all relationships, man. I mean, I called the same brokers daily, like, hey, I got 4 trucks empty. What you got? Before I even don't build your business models. I'm going to live off a load board. You got to build these relationships. It's no different for a broker. You want to just send out a couple emails and have your load covered. Do you really want to post your shit and take 37 phone calls? No, that's not ideal. But the biggest thing is to getting independent guys to understand that. Oops. Hey, you're on mute, so you sound amazing.
Sorry, bro.
There you go.
You're 1,000% right on that, man. On like building relationships and stuff, man. Both as a broker with carriers and especially carriers with the broker, you guys, man. And yeah, it can be a challenge, whether you're newer or old in the business as far as a carrier. But I will say, man, from me being a broker, I love relationships with carriers, man. Every customer that I have, I strive to get not so much dedicated freight, but like I want stuff that is the same, comes from the same place, same load every time, that kind of stuff. And I build carrier pools, man. And I got a customer in the Northeast right now, dude. I have a carrier spreadsheet. I think it's 60 carriers deep, and it's all box trucks, dude. And I've done business with every single one of them. I send out an email, and almost all of them 30 minutes. Hey, Rob, is it still available? Like, I want to do this. And dude, they know I pay good. I don't fucking harass you. My customers' loads are real easy. But I ask you to do what you said, Jimmy. Hey, answer the phone when I call you, man. Accept my tracking link. Give me my paperwork on time. Those are the things that make to reuse you. And I firmly believe that those type of relationships go into your deal here, man. Your app, because that stability, whether you're running the same lanes or not, but that stability with your relationships with brokers, knowing, hey, these brokers pay good, they help me stay profitable. Like, those are the things that allow you to make the money and be profitable and stay in this business and really, you utilize this app that you're doing, that you have to show, hey, these are the lanes that I'm running that are making me money. These are the lanes that are not. So this is what I really need to focus on. And a lot of carriers, they don't do that, man. They talk about relationships, but they don't actively try to chase them.
No, they don't. And sitting behind that steering wheel, I know you don't have the time to chase them. But what you can do is honor what you say you're going to do so that broker wants to use you again. That's the biggest thing. And as you start working with him, he'll start working with you. Y'all will understand each other. He'll call you first. He'll be like, hey, Joe, you about to be empty, man? I got another one. I mean, it's hand in hand, symbiotic relationship, however you want to look at it. But no one's going to survive if they don't do it the right way. I mean, and you can take it from me. I've done it the wrong way. I mean, you're talking about when you turn a profit, man. I've been in it for 10 years. I ain't turned a profit yet. It's all about that grind. I mean, granted, I'm lucky I got a wife that doesn't kick me to the curb and say, hey, go get a real job. She lets me grind this thing out. But I mean, this is built. The backbone of America is the trucks.
Yeah.
You buy it, you eat it, you wear it. It came off of a truck somewhere.
Nope.
Yeah. 1,000%, brother. I so much agree, and I'll tell you that, man, it really is. The whole point of your app is really the whole point of being a driver, man. It is about making money. That's what it's about, and figuring out these costs and knowing what to do. And man, I don't know. I can't talk enough on this stuff. I really can't, because cost per mile and expenses to me are such a fun topic as far as I'm concerned, because even though I don't like math, like I like running numbers and then seeing a green number show up at the bottom.
That's right. And it's very debatable. Everybody's situation is different. I hope a lot of people are out there running around with a paid off truck and a paid off trailer, but I know that's not the case. Good for that guy. He can run at $1.10. Most people can't. And it's disturbing to see all the arguments of, how the industry's changed and the broker's taking all the money and yada, 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 when we know it's not true. It's just the fact you don't know how to run your business, and you jumped in the market when it was raping the customer, and you think you should always make $7 a mile. No, take it from me. I started in 2013 where average was $1.15.
Golly.
So no, this is actually kind of a stable market. You just can't see it that way because people were paying outrageous prices.
Yeah, you're right, man. And something like this is really, these are the tools that carriers need to be using from day one. a lot of just think, oh, hey, it's having an ELD service and, a camera and, load board, the basic stuff, man. But, these type of things. And I guess QuickBooks, but I really don't like that because it's not geared toward trucking. But, your app, AccuBid, man, these are the type of tools that they need, man, from day one, that very first load. And start inputting that data, man, start compiling it and go back and look at your history, figure out where your expenses are, where you can cut costs,
That's right.
Fuel is the biggest cost that a driver has. And I'll tell you, I've got a very few things that if every carrier did this, their fuel bill would shrink dramatically. And that's, like I said earlier, stop doing 75 miles an hour every damn where you go. You know what I mean? To think about the way that you route yourself and the places that you run. Try to stay off those mountains as much as possible. Look at where the fuel prices are in those parts of the country. If you go, there's a government website. I've got it saved on my thing, but there's a government website that you can go on and it tells you what the average cost of fuel is per region. And, if you, and, keeping your fluids and stuff changed, keeping your tires rotated. A lot of people don't know, hey, tractor trailers, trucks need their fucking tires rotated too, man. I mean, you have to move them around. I mean, you obviously can't, like a car, put your drives on the front, but your drives need to be rotated, man. If you got bad tires on one side, your truck is leaning slightly. And that means that your fuel consumption is worse, your air filters. There's just a very, I wouldn't say very few, but only a few things that would help drivers, cut down these costs. And I don't think a lot of them, Jimmy, I know a lot of them don't look at the long term. I always say that carriers today are transactional. They think about the here, the now, nothing about next week. It is what this load pays and what I'm going to make off of it.
That's because they're all living out of their business bank account. Let's just be honest.
You were so right, man. Like I'm not gonna lie. When I owned a business, man, there were times where I did, man. Like I used my business account to cover things, man, and it never was detrimental to me. But like I realized it. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm swiping this card for stupid shit that I shouldn't be. You know what I mean? And that's taking money away from my business and ultimately my profit to put back into my business. So,
exactly.
it's a very good point. And that is because they don't have tools like yours, Jimmy. They don't, they're not tracking their expenses the way they probably should. And if they are, they're just tracking those fixed expenses for the most part, insurance and ELD stuff and the fuel, even though fuel varies, most people pay the same amount within a small range for fuel. I don't know if that's Hunter or what. It's
a hell of a reverb. I don't know.
I think it's Hunter. It's always you're on mute.
It is Hunter.
It is fucking Hunter. Look at that.
Yeah,
he mutes it, and we're good.
That's right. We're golden now. Now, man, I could go on for hours, and I really do appreciate y'all having me on. I don't really know how to get the word out. I'm not computer savvy. This is not what I do. Yeah. I'm not a marketer. I'm not going to browbeat people, but I think it's a necessary tool for the new guys. I mean, there are some veterans, I'm sure, who struggle with it, but they've managed to maintain. They're not going to change. But if you jumped in this industry and you expected the world and now it's giving you lemons, well, my app will help you make lemonade. I can't guarantee you anything because you get in a bad situation or just the wrong mechanical thing happen and it's detrimental to anybody. I mean, a reman engine right now is $23,000. That's not counting putting it in. So, something catastrophic can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But if you're not watching the numbers, dude, you're already
we dropped $10,000. We dropped $10,000 a few months ago on this freaking module for our truck, dude, or just under $10,000. It was flipping ridiculous how much that shit costs, man.
Those ECMs are no joke.
That's dude. It wasn't. I think it was an ECM. It had to do with like our shifting or something like that, man. It was just fucking crazy how much it cost us to get done. So you're right, man. Those mechanic bills or maintenance bills cost a lot. But Jimmy, we do appreciate you having on. Or having you on, everybody. Accubidpro.com. Hold on, Jimmy. I'm going to scroll your stuff across the bottom again. There we go. Accubidpro.com. Y'all see the email down there is info@accubidpro.com. Jimmy and his people have a really, really great tool for you carriers out there. I talk a lot about cost per mile and that you don't need to look at rates. If you're chasing the big number, you're doing this shit wrong. I mean, you need to be looking at the rate per mile, and that's what you need to be focused on. And Jimmy's app helps you do all that. I mean, it is literally does everything. If y'all go to the website that we have scrolling down there at the bottom and just look at the what we do tab, and it goes through everything, about keeping track of your expenses per load, per broker, and it compiles that data, over the long term, and really allows y'all to get a understanding of what your expenses are and what you need to do to be profitable. So
hey, check it out on YouTube. I've got a whole display video of me going through the whole process. It's about 11 minutes long, but it ain't step by step, brother. I've done everything I can. And even if you just got a question, info@accubidpro.com, and I will answer it for you. I mean, that's just how I am.
Sweet. And do we really want to have you back on again, man?
You say the word, I'll be here.
Yeah, sometime down the road, dude. Because I mean, the expenses are and operating costs are something that I don't think we can talk enough about. In the logistics period. I mean, in period, even from the broker side. So definitely like talking money, man, and talking profit. I love this shit.
I'll be waiting on my trip to Dubai.
I'll send you his carry-on luggage with Jessica.
All right. Hey, great meeting you. Great meeting you, Hunter. Thank y'all very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jimmy.
Y'all have a good night.
You too, bro.
You too.
Bye.
Hunter!
Mr. Rob.
My brother, before we chop it out, yo. Hold on, let me see here. Can I share? Oh, boo-boo. Before we chop it out, we want to give a shout out and throw some love to our sponsor, Freight Management Systems, Transportation Management System.
Yep.
Yes, we fuck his name just complete. Henry, Jesus Christ.
Henry Sheldon.
We had Henry on the show last night, man, talking about all the cool things that FMS does with their software. And as you guys can see on the screen, here's a couple of their reviews. You see the one guy's been dealing with him 25 years, and the person there to the right, they've been dealing with them for 10 years, and they are extremely satisfied customers. If you're a broker or a carrier, then please give Henry a call and or an email. There's the information down there at the bottom of the screen. Henry said he will run you through everything that his platform does, and it's a really, really, really cool tool. I mean, it does a lot of things that some other TMSs does. Has a lot of integrations with systems more than just load boards. What, Hunter? I think he said it, like tracking.
Tracking. It helps out with the factoring side of the world.
Yes.
It helps out. If you're a driver with just a cell phone, you don't have to worry about printing off your rate cons. You can electronically sign through their system. It's great people, great service, great software. Yeah. Honestly,
I agree. So,
if I were a carrier, if I were a driver or a broker starting up, I would hire that guy immediately.
I agree, man. I agree, and they're amazing. Henry had a lot of great information. His backstory is really cool. He really, really wants to help make a difference in brokers and carriers' operations with their TMS. Help people streamline things a little more, automate stuff, help you to integrate other platforms that you may use to, again, help streamline and make your operations more efficient and effective. We will be having Henry back on in November when they come out with some new rollouts. I can't freaking wait, Hunter. That's going to be super cool to hear about those things.
Drayage tracking.
Yes, dude. Yes. I love it, dude. Henry's such a cool guy. So,
yeah.
You brokers, you carriers, if you guys are looking for a TMS, it is an absolute must-have if you are a broker or a carrier, to have a transportation management system, help you keep track of everything that you do as far as your loads and document management, accounting, stuff like that. Give FMS a call or send them an email. Like I said, it's scrolling across the bottom there. And with that, I think we are going to bid adieu.
All I'm saying is next time we get Henry on, I want Jessica Lopez with the beard for the bearded lady since he's a carnival guy.
Dude, yeah. That shit. Yeah. Yeah, Jessica. Oh, if you get back on and watch this again later, Jessica. Yeah. When we have Henry Sheldon on, Henry Sheldon started as a carny. So if you paint that beard on you, he may have the hookup for you to be in a bearded lady show. That's fucking funny, man. That is such good shit. So I'm going to chop out of here, man. I haven't even fucking showered yet, dude. I went on my walk and then had to help my son hang a ceiling fan. And so like I'm literally sitting here in my workout clothes and can smell myself. So I'm going to go jump in the shower and then have some me time. Hunter, what are you going to do, man? You going to finish putting your apartment together?
Day by day. I'm probably going to have a couple drinks and watch some TV. That's about it, my man.
You remember on SpongeBob when they would do that shit of like 5 years later? That's going to be fucking Hunter.
3 hours later.
5 years later. I hope my TV.
I hate moving, dude. I've moved like 7 times in the past 6 years.
Oh, God, fuck that, bro.
I get bored with, the view. I see shit for 12 months straight. I want to look at something else. But it is what it is.
A lot of married men say that. I'm sorry, bro.
Eating the same candy bar every day.
that just came to mind, man. I just thought this shit was funny. So anyway, we're gonna chop out here, guys. We appreciate y'all watching. If you didn't watch the whole show, please go back and watch. Jimmy from AccuBid Pro really put out some great information. The app that they have for you carriers to help you guys track your expenses. It calculates stuff, help you know where you're profitable at. And it does all kinds of stuff. It pulls data from places all over the app. If you enter each lane that you do and what the rate is you get for that lane and stuff, like I said, it compiles a shit ton of data from a bunch of different places. As long as you use the AccuBid app properly, you'll know what your cost per mile is really quick. And as I've said so many friggin' times, if you do not know your cost per mile as a carrier, you are doing it wrong. Who gives a shit if the load pays $5,000? The load can pay $50,000. If it runs below what your cost per mile is to be profitable, who fucking cares? And I cannot say that enough. Stop looking at the rate on the board. Who cares what it pays total? Figure out look at that rate per mile. That is what I do as a carrier.
Makes running business easy right there.
It does, because if you look at that cost per mile as a carrier, you can immediately go through those loads on the load board and start running numbers. If the load pays $2,000, you run the math on it. And if it comes out that it's paying $1.50 a mile and you need to be at $1.62, don't take that shit. You know what I mean? Like, don't
be greedy. Know your numbers. Win more freight.
I love that. Dude, I love that. We should tell Jimmy that. Tell Jimmy, there's your fucking catchphrase, bro. Don't be greedy. Know your numbers. Win more freight. I like that shit. It's
simple. Everybody wins. You're
right, bro. You're right. So, Hunter, I'm going to jump off here, man. And like I said, man, go take a shower. And I don't even think I've eaten dinner yet. I don't even know if I've eaten dinner yet. Bro.
That's what I've been doing off camera. I've been over here eating little bits at a time, man, trying to get it in. That's the game, brother. But as always,
cool. As I always say, chunk the deuces, and with that, we leave you.